evidence of having been partially devoured by their murderers.
Good evening. My name is Helix, and tonight I will be your raconteur of despair. Welcome to the grind. Often in our lives, we move about in our own isolated bubbles of security. In times of extreme strife, we are assaulted with the reality that the world is much bigger than the bubbles we surround ourselves in. In those moments, the security deteriorates and our sense of safety fades away into the washing waves of vulnerability. Because the reality is, there is a very dark ocean of danger that surrounds us all. Oftentimes we don't see it. Oftentimes we move through it completely unaware. And then there are moments when everything we thought we knew about the world comes crashing down. We begin our story tonight exactly 4 nights from where we previously left off. Does anyone remember what date that was?
September 21st?
2019?
No. If memory serves, it was September 15th, 2019. So 4 nights from now, things have progressed to somewhat of a lull, and the people in question have moved to their own corners of security. The safe house that Damaris provided is indeed quite the makeshift establishment. Or rather, the ruins of a building. And underneath, an unfinished facility. The building in question is called the Vellum Prime Industry, and it is a abandoned paper factory. The location sparked an aversion to the stripper. No one could figure out why. But they decided not to stay there and spent their time elsewhere. They found their means of habitation at another location. Did you all decide on the location to meet? Was that Damaris's location or somewhere else?
Yeah, definitely see somewhere that would be safer and less explodable, preferably.
I believe the stripper had extended an invitation to her new location,
Okay.
and that was the agreed upon meeting place.
The meeting place takes place in a very normal suburban part of the city. It's kind of a remote drive away from the heavy traffic and the concrete jungle and opposing danger that surrounds everyone. You were instructed to go behind a property to a shack, and you would be greeted there. A wooden shack, we were told. And you get there. The stripper is standing there, very out of their element, much overdressed for standing next to a wooden, rundown, sun-bleached shack. But nevertheless, they are there and ready to greet you. The night in question of this meeting was intended to discuss what you have accomplished over these past 4 days and find some common ground to move forward with any type of plans you may have. Damaris is currently not present for this meeting. However, Eve and Morven show up in, I would assume, Eve's car, as the drive is rather remote. You are muted, Eve.
All right.
And we will begin the scene there.
I gesture them into my shack, and I lead them the rest of the way towards my new apartment, which involves me taking this golden disc with a little blue marble on it and pushing it into a very intricate looking lock, and that bypasses the security to let all three of us in, and then we make our way down through an elevator into my new apartment, which is thankfully warded against many of the dangers that are now seeking us out.
A point of order. There is a very long elevator ride down. At least 5 minutes.
Wonderful minute. I'm
We
gonna.
taken a journey to the center of the earth.
Yeah, this is it's a great thing neither of us are claustrophobic. Quite a long time in a small box.
I look at them both and I say, the important thing is that it's secure. We don't have to worry about
True.
it exploding.
Hope
That's
not.
fine.
Thank you for offering your place up as the meeting spot.
Well, unfortunately, due to my skin allergies, there's not a whole lot of places we can all meet up together at the same time.
A few moments later,
Most of my clients are during the day anyway.
the door dings and opens. And you are greeted with a sight you most definitely did not expect. It opens up into a very clean and pristine, ornate mash of Corinthian, neoclassical, Baroque style of architecture and a very large expanse of a space.
Okay.
What's the rent for this number then? Jeez.
I wanted it to feel like home.
It's something, all right. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
And secure, you said.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what matters. We're not going to get blown to hell? Heaven? The ceiling?
This place came with a fully stocked kitchen, so if I can offer you any tea or coffee or little finger sandwiches, I don't know what you people like to eat or drink, but if you want it, I probably have it.
Finger sandwich.
I'm thinking French toast.
You have any vodka?
Do I?
Yes. Full bar.
I point her in the direction of my full bar and I say, take your pick. Top
She points off
Thank you.
into a long hallway.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I'll be right back.
Essentially, this is a very large chamber, and it branches off into 5 doors from the elevator. There is the one straight across, and there are 2 on each side. And she pointed to the one directly across.
Okay, I'll go right into there.
As you walk across, you can't help but feel encased in a tomb. As your shoes clack along the ground and echo off the stone walls, it feels solid, it feels secure, but you have no clue how deep under the earth you really are. When you look up at the archway, there are what appears to be glass windows that are frosted, and what looks like natural sunlight. You know for sure that is not the case.
Where is that?
You make your way to the bar. There's no one there, but it is much like the restaurants you would go to, just a wall of bottles behind a bar. You have to walk behind and make your selection. But all of the selections, I don't know how well versed Eve would be with different alcohols, but they are quite rare and expensive.
Not an expert in any one in particular, just well enough versed to know what's what. To know, oh, that looks pricey. But not a special.
Whilst you're through there, could you get me a Fanta, please?
If I can find, do you have mixers anywhere in here? Just yelling down the hallway.
Yeah, it echoes through, and you do see like a small fridge to make cocktails and different types of drinks. It has all of the other things that you would mix. There is not a Fanta there.
I don't see any. Do you want some other kind of soda?
Sprite?
Is there Sprite or a lemon lime soda?
So, very interesting. As you look back down at the refrigerator, you take a second glance, and then you see 2 cans of Fanta and 2 cans of Sprite that were not previously there before.
Bring a little bit of work home with her? I'll grab one of the cans of Fanta, and then I'll look around for anything that I think might suit her taste. I.e., anything that Morven or I probably wouldn't want to consume, but just being thoughtful and going to look for a drink to make for the host.
A black marble cup appears on the bar. As you're looking around, you just notice that it's like it's been sitting there. And there is a metal straw.
Probably looks just like the one that she had back at the club.
It does.
If only there was a little tray I could carry all three, like my vodka and her glass and Morven's Fanta. That would be lovely. One of those would appear.
Nothing happens.
No. All right. Well, then I'm gonna take. Is it a can of soda?
The Fanta? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm gonna tuck that into my arm, and then I'm gonna hold the stripper's glass and my glass and walk back out.
It does have liquid in it.
I'm not gonna sample or even try to guess. I'm just gonna hand hers to her. Here you go, ladies. A little bit for everybody. They did have Fanta after
Oh,
all.
cheers.
That's a neat
Now with
trick.
extra added armpit.
Thank you, I'm famished.
Least I could do. You brought us into your home. Pleasantries aside, is there there's a sofa. Is there another one? Or a table we could sit at?
Stripper, you've been here. You know that there is a very lavish bedroom. There is a library. There is basically a dining room, and the bar at the end is basically like a social smoking room. It's very reminiscent of the club. And there is a very lavish bathroom, and then there is the bedroom, master bedroom.
I'd probably direct them towards the smoking area, even though probably none of us are going to plan on smoking really, but there should be more than enough seating for the three of us to sit down and relax and catch up on
that would be
what's
back
been going
to
on in the past.
actually back to the bar.
So then I lead them back towards the bar area.
And you walk in. It's several tables, like it could seat probably 40 people. Booths everywhere. All of the chairs are actually ornate Baroque style, very polished black wood, high back chairs. Not terribly comfortable, but very regal.
Well, this is certainly the most secure high-end party venue I've ever been to.
I can only imagine what it costs.
It didn't cost that much. I can afford it, so.
Well, as long as you aren't putting yourself out too terribly much with this whole thing.
Well, the loss of my apartment was a bigger hit than I was expecting.
I'm sorry that that shit happened. I
am too, trust me.
keep thinking back to it, you know, trying to think if anybody followed. I don't remember seeing anything. Do you remember anything weird about that day? I mean, clearly it was their apartment blew up and then our friend was murdered, so strange day, but prior to, keep running through it. And
Well, I thought my place was secure. Obviously, I was wrong. And as soon as I find the people who did that to my place, I will make them pay.
Hope your
It's probably-
neighbours are okay.
I get the feeling that the two things are connected. I don't think your place and Ewan are disconnected. So
Well, I
if
don't-
you're
I don't-
looking for them.
I don't think that us sticking our necks out and trying to solve these murders is a coincidence either.
No. Have you made any headway on looking for the people who blew up your apartment?
There have been some other developments that have preoccupied me a little bit.
Okay. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. What have you got going on so far?
Well, I can literally show you mine. And my
That's
character,
exciting.
she's wearing a kind of a more of a loose-fitting top that kind of gracefully drapes down, and she turns around and she kind of grabs the back of her shirt and pulls it up just far enough to show them a tattoo, which has 8 different cardinal directions on it, and in the center is a pentagram surrounded by an Ouroboros, and
A
she just holds her shirt up.
reverse Ouroboros.
Reverse Ouroboros, right? And she holds her shirt up just for a few seconds, just long enough for them to get an eyeful.
Where's
And then
the tattoo?
she
Where?
puts her shirt back down.
What was your question?
What was?
Oh, I said where?
It is where you would have the base of your neck, the back of your neck, almost between the shoulder blades, but up a little bit, like that bone that sticks out.
And then I show it off for a few seconds, and then I release my shirt and let it drape back down, and I turn around and I look at both of them and I say, I can't even get rid of this tattoo with my own magic. And I don't ever remember getting this tattoo. It showed up recently, and I don't know how, and I don't know why.
My first guess, since the cardinal directions are on it, that it's some sort of tracking thing? Maybe. It's weird. It's dope tattoo, but like, what it means is probably not so dope.
That
The fact that
symbol.
I don't remember getting it is the least dope thing about it. I don't want it on my body. I didn't consent to this. It just showed up. And in case you didn't catch it earlier, I'm a flesh mage. I can control the flesh, and I cannot control this tattoo.
DM, I'm sending you a message via Facebook regarding this.
Right?
Do you know anyone who has control over, like, tattoos or something?
No, you're the only skinamancer I know. Do you know?
Nobody that I know well enough that I would let them tattoo me.
No, in order to remove it, not that you'd think they'd put it on there.
I've gotten a few at a place here in town, but I don't know that they're in the business of tattooing people unwillingly. Although
You know that sorry to interrupt.
I think that symbol would be familiar to me.
It's not the same symbol, but you do know, like, part of the research you were doing before you guys first met, the Ophion symbol, you know about the Ophion Society. You know that their symbol is a reverse Ouroboros with a much different interwoven. It's actually 2 crescent moons encircling each other.
Not the not the pentagram.
There is a pentagram on it.
Okay, thank you because I was thinking those two are the same image.
They are not.
Okay, cool.
This is a specific branch of the Ophion Society, then maybe?
But it's reversed. The opposite of them, their enemy, maybe?
Morven, could your cards tell us anything about this?
That's a great idea.
I could certainly give it a good old bash. So this past while, I've been trying to read my cards more often for information, and I've been getting the same few. So, I can try. I'm not promising anything from the off.
Best you can do is give it a shot. When did you say you first recalled having it?
Within the last few days, I was at the club doing my job, and a regular client of mine noticed it. Actually, gave me a really nice compliment about it. And I had to shrug it off and pretend I knew what he was talking about until I could get into a bathroom and look at it in the mirror, and then realized I had a tattoo on my body that I had no recollection of getting, ever.
To be
And
clear, I put that up on the screen so you all can see it. The original Ophion symbol, the symbol that was melted, or more like stamped into the skull, it fused with the bone. It was platinum on these murder victims, is a reverse Ouroboros with 2 crescent moons encircling an inverted pentagram. Or pentacle, to be specific.
Well,
And
yeah, I
what's
definitely think
playing
someone's
on-
keeping tabs on.
Okay, yep, and that's the tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, someone's keeping tabs on you, and maybe that someone knew how to get to your apartment to blow it up? Question mark.
well, hopefully your cards can tell us more.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I'll
this is-
get going on that.
Okay. You are going to use your cards, correct? I need you to roll.
Correct. $44 versus 25. Oof.
How many cards did you draw?
5.
Interesting number.
Mm.
However, none of them correlate. You can't make heads or tails of anything related to this type of symbol. Just looks like random cards to you right now. Nothing's popping out at you.
I ain't feeling any vibes coming off of this one. These cards all seem a bit contradictory and mismatched. I can't really come up with a concise answer for you based off of this alone.
It's alright, at least you gave it a shot.
I figured it was worth a try. There's one other lead we could follow up. I texted a picture of my tattoo to a mutual online friend of ours. They replied to me with a name. Octavius Hollander.
Eve, make a roll. Morven, make a roll.
What am I rolling?
Actually, no, not Morven. Just Eve.
I haven't been there yet in this universe, have I?
What am I rolling?
This is an attack on yourself.
Defend with notice. I don't have anything that substitutes for notice, so... Waha. 4
Oh,
versus
wow.
45.
You are struck in your mind with an assault of different emotions that are not really your own, but feel familiar. And you see a very ancient looking old man inside a library. And he's berating you on how careless you are. And the voices of him echo. And he's just saying, you know, you're a careless child. You need to be more careful. These things are not cheap. And you're apologizing, you're sorry. Because you feel like you've lost control. And then you snap back out of it. You can mark a hardened on that track.
That's the
Self-track.
squares
No, that's your failed.
and circles.
Yep.
Okay, circles. Cool. We good. Octavius Hollander.
She was basically standing there for a few moments, like holding her head like this, like wincing in pain, like she just had a migraine. And it literally standing there for like 3 minutes.
Are
Are
you
you
fucking okay?
Yeah, yes. I'm fine.
Her nose starts bleeding.
You don't look fine.
Where's the bathroom? Do you have toilet paper?
I hand her I reach behind the bar and I pick up a silk napkin and I hand it to her.
Thanks.
The instant that silk napkin touches her, the white silk completely fills with red, and then it turns white again. And her nose is no longer bleeding.
Useful. Thank you.
My new place is full of surprises that even I'm still discovering.
Well, you've seen this before, Stripper. In the facilities of club. You know that place takes things.
Is there any way I can pocket the silk handkerchief without them noticing?
I mean, where did she put it?
I would still have it in my hand if there's nowhere to put it.
You can put it anywhere. There's tables, there's bars. It's up to you.
I'd actually probably, once I see it go white again, I wouldn't even think about it. Do you have a laundry? Looks clean, but,
Give it to me. I'll put it in the bin.
okay, here.
The bin? How many of those things do you have? You could sew a dress out of that and make bank.
Yeah, it's very absorbent.
Don't worry, I'll make sure it's cleansed and sanitized.
Octavius Hollander was the name that you were given regarding that tattoo.
Yes, our mutual online friend told me that if I wanted answers, that was the person I needed to seek out.
Well, you're going to need to go to him, which means field trip. He's definitely not coming to you.
Are his offices open in the evening? Because if not, we're going to have to make special arrangements.
I don't know, but I do know that the friend that's supposed to be coming this evening later, I believe he's familiar with a certain library. That's, I think, where Octavius is.
Well, I certainly hope he can help us make those arrangements, because myself more than most, I am very particular about what does and does not mark my body, and I'm
Absolutely.
not a fan of having this tattoo on me without my permission.
You must feel just so violated. And I can only imagine the upset that must stir in you. I understand if you need someone to talk to. Just
I honestly can't tell if she's being sarcastic with me or not.
I'm a professional.
You can make a roll.
What am I rolling?
This would be connect.
$31 versus 40.
Spill it, Eve.
I wasn't being sarcastic per se. There was more manipulative. I just you benefit from flesh. You have anger to get rid of, and it's spare. If I have to cut off a hand, I know who I'd give it to. That's all I'm saying. We're on the same side. In any case.
She's speaking a code to you, Stripper, that I think you would understand. You feel like she was trying to gain a charge.
Okay.
Off of your anger.
What would it cost me to let her have it?
Depends on how big a charge she's trying to get from you.
How pissed off are you about having your body marked without your permission? I mean, you deal in flesh. It's your life and your livelihood. It's what you are. I would be very upset. I'm being sincere about that much at least. I would be upset. And if you don't want to be upset about it, I can help.
It definitely upsets her, because this is not the first time ever in her existence that she's had her own flesh manipulated against her will. And it's also very frustrating that her own power isn't enough to erase this violation.
Yeah.
So
I can't make it go away, but I can make you a little less pissed about it. And if that hurts a little less and helps a little more, win-win.
So, just to be clear for both of you, Stripper, you are used to the willing consent of sacrifice being given to you for you to gain charges. Eve is much different. She has to cause her charges. It can't be willingly done. She has to start shit.
I think in that case, when I feel her riling me up, and I feel it kind of getting under my skin, pun intended, and I start to lose control of my emotions, I struggle to regain that control back because I don't like being without control.
Okay. You see her regain her composure. And you know you lost that attempt.
That's healthy. Very healthy. So, sorry to hear about the disappointing results thus far, but, a field trip, then. That'll be, I guess, something we do.
Field trip to where? Where are we going?
The library. Not right now. That wouldn't
There's
really
a
benefit us.
few. Which one?
Point. It was a big one. What's the biggest one we have around here? I think the one that the kid works at. He's not much younger than me, but he's like a child. One he works at.
Alexandra or something?
Yeah. Logos Minerva. No. Not Alexandria. That's an old historical library you're thinking of. It's a myth. It's like Atlantis. You're thinking Logos Minerva. That's the giant old one with all of the high beams.
Right.
Yeah.
It had some sort of weird, like, witchy name to it.
Yeah.
No
Everything.
offense to actual witches. Are actual witches a thing?
Well,
It depends on who you ask.
It's cool.
I didn't have much luck on my end. But I put in a call to an old friend to try and help. Morphin, I know you've got some stuff that isn't. Anyway, I'm trying to help, but I haven't found anything yet. I wish I could be more useful.
Okay.
The past few days, I mean, since everything happened, I have a good friend who's, knows people. And I thought I would be able to, ask them and maybe they would have answers, and it didn't turn out. So I'm kind of disappointed. I wanted to be able to help you out. But
Cheers, I guess. Although, considering what we're up against, I have no fucking clue if she's even alive. It's basically just card readings and pure whim that's convinces me
I
she's
know.
still out there somewhere.
Eve, you know that someone as powerful as your friend to look and not be able to find, kind of a big deal.
the thing is, if she could be found, she would have been. If she was being hidden by an amateur, she would have been discovered. If she was hiding by herself, she would have been found. Something more has to be going on, which makes me think I don't know, and that's what gets me. But I do know that if the tables were turned and the situation was reversed, you would help me. So,
In regards to him helping Morven, his response was more, if he does it his way, it will take more time. If he does it another way, he would actually have to get to know them, like in person.
yeah, I figured as much.
So you're telling me either she's gone, which possible, but I don't want to give up if there isn't concrete evidence, or that she's being hidden really, really well, in which case we need to get on it.
In this moment, I need Morven to make a helplessness check. Because hearing that news
Oh gosh, okay.
kind of struck.
Is that a defense?
It's an attack on your helplessness.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Where's my...
In this moment, share the memories you recall of her disappearance. The other
Last time I saw Lorna...
Go ahead.
Last time I saw Lorna, I was dropping her off at school. I made fun of her in front of her pals, and she, in essence, told me to fuck off. And that was the end of it. I went off to my classes, she went off to her classes, and then at the end of the day I waited for her to walk home with her. Nothing happened. We didn't go to the same school. She goes to a different campus, but our classes finished at the same time, so I was waiting for her at her usual spot. No show. Texting, messaging, nothing. Highly unlike her. Went home, the adoptive mom and pa were worried. After a day or so, the police were involved, and then that's when the nightmares started happening. As in previous years, the police helped and did, fuck all. They asked repetitive questions that they should have already had the answer to because we told them last time, or they should have been able to piece it together with whatever we already told them, or they thought that I was lying, or one of them was like a real mean cunt and thought I was a suspect because I was the last person to see her. Just, it was a palaver, and each night the nightmares got worse until I finally decided, fuck it, I'm not sitting around waiting for the authorities to do anything. I started doing readings. I started trying to piece together what they meant. I started, following the occultist club at my campus more. I got more into you lot online. Just, there's something that tells me she isn't dead.
How old would she be?
She'd be 20.
And did she go missing in the city, or was that across the pond.
In the city.
Okay.
Good news is they didn't find a body. And I understand, believe me, I understand that terminology isn't the friendliest, but it is good news. If for some reason, and I can't imagine why, but if for some reason she's involved in this, or involved in this world, I should say. I mean, your sisters. I can only imagine. Stripper, you've mentioned family relations tying you to certain things you'd rather not be tied to. I'm sure blood relation, if there's power in your family, it might run. And I don't know, if your sister woke up, maybe I could understand her hiding. But that's a crazy theory out of nowhere. But
Even if you're not awake yet, that won't stop some people from pulling you into the shit, whether you like it or not.
it's very true.
I don't know why she would be killed. She had no enemies. She was one of the nicest people on this fucking earth. She and I are like this. We've been like this since I can remember. And I can't give up because I know if the places were swapped and the tables were turned that she would do the same for me.
Is she older or younger? I'm sorry.
She's 2 and a bit years younger than I am.
It must be really hard. Have you been staying somewhere safe? Have you looked through your apartment since everything? I mean, I know you probably don't have this level of security, neither do I, but
Oh, I've kind of been dreading that. I still live with, Frank and Patty, my adoptive parents. I don't really have anywhere else. I don't have pocket money to live anywhere else either. I don't really have a job. But
it's expensive.
I probably shouldn't, because the last thing I would want is for them to get dragged into this shit as well by association.
Patty. Yeah. Well, I hope that our friend fared better than we did with information getting. He sure says that he's good at it. Likes to boast.
Yeah.
For
Glad I'm
what's
not
worth
kind of
it,
searching alone.
for what it's worth, I put out some feelers into the Famine's operation. Apparently, it's going to take a little bit of time to get anything concrete back, but I want to find out how she gets the word out about her services, and more importantly, how to undermine her operation. So I don't know how successful I'm going to be at that, but time will tell.
Eve.
Yes.
When you hear that word again, something triggers in your mind. You're not really sure where it comes from, but you are recalling a dream that you had that was really strange several nights ago. And you feel like it's something's related to that.
One. Well, I doubt we could get him to tell us anything. Famine has a big part in this. I know it in my gut.
You want to
Something to do with this whole situation. Go ahead.
find out more?
Yes.
Big spend.
Doing it.
Okay. Make your roll. Hope you don't fail.
Also, fucking work, Crown. $28 versus 50.
All right. 23. Okay. You're all looking at each other, correct?
Yeah.
And she begins to cast a spell that you recognize she's trying to cast a spell, Stripper. Do you do anything to react?
I stand back a little bit and I kind of prepare myself just in case something goes off the rails, but I don't stop her.
Morven, what are you doing?
Eve, what are you doing?
When you look at Eve... Oh, are you texting me something?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. When you look at Eve, she begins just mouthing something, and then you watch the eyes flush with blood and then grow red veins all over her face, and it starts to circle her head. And you
Is
watch
this normal?
she starts to bleed from the ears. And the
I
room...
I put my hand on Morven's shoulder and I say, just calm down. Just step back.
The room begins to
do what she needs to
grow
do.
dark. The shadows around kind of start to move just a little bit and distort. And you see just a red mist hang into the air. Eve, you are taken back to that moment in your dream where you are in that battle. Except you are now the other person. The older self. And you are attacking the current you in this darkened space. And then as it stops, you are reversed back through this darkened atmosphere back into the never. And this is not some kind of control that you have. You are literally rolling back time within the memory. And you recall the moments you spent in the never, trying to move about it. And then you recall the loss of consciousness. And you are feeling the pain of having your body exist again, as you are reversed through backwards in time, out of the never into the world, and feeling the reverse action of this sawing motion in your body cavity, and your bones being split and you being cut open, but it's almost like they're moving in reverse and healing themselves, and you are flashed open in your eyes as there is someone standing over you. The eyes are black. It is a woman. And she stands up backwards. You see her speaking in reverse. And you see standing with Damaris, standing with a different looking Damaris, a different looking Morven. They're all talking, they're speaking. The language is backwards. And you glance at the wall. It's not backwards. On it, you look at the words and you hear a voice.
This is the house of famine.
And you snap back. But you are bleeding from the eyes, the ears. Your body still feels the ghost of that pain of being sawed into.
Eve, are you okay?
Give
I
me
still
a
have my
minute.
drink in my hand, right?
Yes.
I take a
Yeah.
really deep sip from it.
Okay. The air smelled very sweet for a moment there.
Eve, what just happened?
Ugh. Hmm. Another field trip.
Have a lot of those?
Would I recognize the house from photos that I've seen?
You saw the inside. It looked
Okay.
abandoned, condemned, actually. Loose wooden floors. What did strike notice is that it is
I
1800.
recall the windows were. Go ahead.
It's more like a 1800s type of building. Some of the windows were boarded but broke, but the boards were loose enough to tell that on the floor it wasn't a like up to code standard type house that you would see today. It was more like very old type built. You know, it's not perfect. There's gaps between the floorboards.
So I would relay that to the two of them as follows. One of the things that I can do, powers, I can use some of the energy I collect to gain information. And when you said her name again, something just clicked, and I tried to pull some info out of a different part of my brain, and basically I can't explain how I know it. I just do. She has a house somewhere. I don't know if it's a safe house of some sort, but and I would tell them all the physical description about the house. It's dilapidated old building. It doesn't look like it's anywhere inside the city. Maybe outside Artemis Grove, but it doesn't look like any of the standard up to code buildings. It doesn't look like anything that I've seen built in New Athens. It doesn't even look like the right style. So it would have to be. You know, I don't know. There's a million places that could be like that. But speaking of Artemis Grove, though, one of the original murders, actually a handful, right? You looked into this too.
It was just one.
Just one. Okay. One of the original murders was in Artemis Grove.
The
Anyway,
previous ones that were semi-related, you do know, were outside the Artemis Grove. They were all
yeah.
together. There was 8. The ones with the symbol, there was
Mhm.
one in the Artemis Grove.
Did I receive a copy of the autopsy from Ewan?
No.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. So I wouldn't remember the name. But
He, unfortunately, did have it on him.
I don't know. Maybe some house in the countryside might be worth looking into.
Well, as much as I'm thankful for and appreciative of the information, if there's a way you can do that next time with a little less leaking, I'd appreciate it. And I take another sip of my drink, and if you're noticing carefully, you may notice a tiny tremor in my hand, or maybe not.
I'm afraid that's not an option, but I'll see myself to the bathroom so that you don't have.
Well, then, advanced warning would be a good thing. For you more so than for me.
I'll see myself to the restroom real quick then.
Okay.
Need any help?
No, I'm good. I know how to use a restroom.
Yeah, okay, right. Can That was a thing. That was a thing that happened.
Well,
Why is that dramatic?
we know a little bit more now than we did a few minutes ago, and more information is always better than less in these sorts of situations.
Mm. Can I help you clean up or something?
No. It's okay. I've got it under control. And if I haven't already taken any of the silk handkerchiefs and deposited them somewhere safe for me, I go ahead and kind of tidy up.
You collect the handkerchief, the silk. It does what it did before when it touches any blood. And it cleans it. You know there is still some kind of linger there on the fabric.
I put it somewhere safe.
Okay. Actually,
Did I miss anything?
I was gonna go
Oh,
back
okay.
to that. We can switch scenes to Eve. Eve, you walk down the hall. It's very lonely and strange walk. It's almost like you're in some kind of mausoleum. You make your way to the bathroom, and it is strangely just as large as the bar room. There are several types of showers and baths and jacuzzis. There's like a full dress section, sinks. It's all this different colored marble, gold trims. You are really impressed. You definitely feel like you don't belong here. But you see like a big wall of mirror at like 3 or 4 different sinks.
Not entirely shocked that it takes all this to do all of that, but I'm a little shaken by what I just experienced,
Mm-hmm.
by the information, by the strangeness and the feelings. The pain is a weird sensation. It's almost not pleasant. Definitely not pleasant, but not the same deterrent that it was before when I was, younger. But the emotional stress that I was under, because I see it as me, was under as I saw that was so intense, volatile, kind of giving me a little shiver. But I'm just gonna wet my hands under the sink and get the blood off and shake it off.
You're contemplating this as you're cleaning yourself up, and you kind of reverse back into your head and recall the event, and somehow you get the feeling that you willingly volunteered for that to happen to you. You saw it in reverse. You remember it in reverse. But you know, backwards engineering the thoughts in your head logically from what you saw, you volunteered for that to happen. And when you look up in the mirror at yourself, there's a shadow that moves behind you.
Try and make eye contact with the shadow, or look where its eyes would be.
It's just a flash. It's like it was walking behind you. It had a little bit of a smoke to it. You do not feel alone.
Here, I would like to, if possible, now in the chat.
Which one?
The Facebook chat.
Okay.
If that's applicable, could I utilize it?
Yes. Is this a minor or significant?
This is significant.
Roll.
Okay. $32 V50.
Wow. In this instant, you turn around and you cloak yourself in this red mist that extends like an octopus, and your body just kind of begins to fade away and become this sinew cloud of large veins and blood. And then you see it come back around the corner. It is a very humanoid type of shadow. However, there is a very solid looking silver skull. It has these mixture of burnt type of dirt smear along the face. The mouth looks like it was fused together and then sliced open to make teeth. There are cuts along the metal dent, black eyes, and you see it approach you. It drifts and it comes up to you.
Hello, friend. Boo.
Hello.
It talk.
What are you?
Could ask you the same thing. I'm something that exists in a world, a real one. I bet you are too, aren't you?
I am.
And yet we're both here. Are you human?
No.
No. Shadow?
No.
What are you?
I asked you first.
I know. Humanish. Human plus. It's the best I know how to put it. Human plus this. What about you?
I was human once.
Before this?
Yes.
Are you my shadow?
No.
One of theirs?
Why?
Curious? Are you watching me?
Why are you here?
Say hello to you. Have anything to do with me at all? Or am I just in the right time at the wrong place?
Hmm. Why are you here?
Power. Why is anybody anywhere?
Are you here to take it?
If necessary.
From whom?
People who don't deserve it. People who shouldn't have it.
Do you deserve it?
I didn't say that. But yes,
Why?
I'm better. I was chosen for this.
Why?
I just know.
Who chose you?
Someone, though. Someone big and important. Us. Not just me, but all of us have something to accomplish here, and If I get some power out of it, I'm not going to complain about it.
Who are you here to take it from?
Either of my friends. We're on the same side. I mean, if she was going to throw some away, I would have taken it, but
Are you here for Lorelei?
no. Lorelei is my friend.
Good.
It's yours too, isn't she? You.
In that moment, the entity shifts form.
And becomes the cat you saw in the apartment.
Oh. Hello.
And then it walks out of the room.
Pickle things. Interesting. I'll turn off the faucet if I haven't done already, and make sure I'm clear of blood before I walk back to join the ladies.
You are walking into the room. The cat had actually made it there before you and sits up on the table. And just looks at all of you like it always does.
I walk up
Hey.
to him and I give him a nice little scritch behind the ears and I say, "Oh, Calvin, are you settling in nicely?"
It just looks at you.
Nice to know he's not gone.
Eve
So it
suddenly
was
appears in the room.
Hello. I see someone made it out of the hubbub the other day. I'm very glad.
It was quite the pleasant surprise for me as well.
Morven, I believe I have figured out why your cards don't always work when you're around the stripper.
Right.
Or at least a hint. Feline friend might have a little something to do with it. But he's precious, as all good.
It looks at you.
Well, it is always a bit more convenient when I'm not being stared at. But I mean, look at him, he's adorable. It's also the distraction of how cute he is.
I've never seen a cat quite like it, that's for sure. It's definitely unique.
Wouldn't
He's nothing if not loyal.
I haven't been getting too good readings the past few days either of those, so I have no idea how, this little buddy would affect those.
You did get very strange readings, Mormon. Just so you remember. I don't know if you got that message.
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Did you, strange question. Did you find him? At your old place? Did you go back and look for him, or, did you just show up here?
Point of order. Your shirt, what are you wearing?
Oh, just a red blouse, probably from work.
Okay. Everyone can see, even though it's red, there is a significant amount of blood stain all over it.
I mean, there's like a camisole under it, so
It is
that should be
definitely
white.
covered in blood.
We need to take you to laundrettes for something.
You
don't carry
did just pass a
black
closet in the restroom, by the way.
I know, but I'm not going to steal our clothing.
I'm just saying. There's clothes here.
Well, at the very least, if not for the sake of aesthetics, your clothes are going to get fairly crispy once that dries completely. Can't be comfortable.
If
It's
you need
fine.
a change of clothes, I have spare.
Okay. If it's that much of a disturbance.
I'm still clutching my drink and sipping on it as I kind of stare at her bloody clothing in a way that might just make her a little bit uncomfortable.
You can't tell if she's hungry or horny.
Why not both?
Can't tell if scared or excited. Why not both? I guess I'll go change my shirt. Linen closet, that way?
Yeah, just right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was actually in the restroom. That's where the clothes were.
I'll go do that then.
Does anyone follow? Just to be clear.
No, I let her change all on her own, and I
Okay.
finish my drink.
Eve, you make your way back to the restroom. You don't have to cover your cam.
Yay.
You find very expensive clothing. More like some regal type dresses, gowns. Very expensive looking stuff. You have your pick of what you wish. As you are changing, I need you to make a notice check.
Okay. I would probably try and look for the least expensive thing I could possibly find.
Yeah, that's not even possible.
That's a 100 versus 45. Can I,
Nope.
use,
Literally none of the things are related.
blah.
So,
Fail.
okay. I gotta roll damage. Okay.
I don't want to die in her bathroom.
You're not gonna die. You're just gonna walk out wearing the most gaudy piece of expensive clothing I have.
You are in the middle of, taking your clothes off and getting ready to put the rest of them on. You walk over to set the clothes on like the counter where the sinks are, and then you slip and fall on the water that was overflowing in the sink, and you crack your head onto the very solid marble, and you are lights out.
Do we hear any of this?
No, it's way down the hallway.
Okay. Guess I'm just casually drinking my Fanta.
And I'm still sipping on my drink.
Okay.
So what all did you do in your downtime, Morven?
I tried to do some readings, like really get into it, properly set up the ambience and make sure that all the variables were set, but that didn't go too well. And then secondly, considering the gravity of the shit we seem to have gotten ourselves into, I got Damaris to help me sort of take me off the grid, as it were. Close all my internet profiles, kind of scrub me as best as we were able from the internet, and I've got a burner phone now.
Smart moves. This Demarius character may actually know what he's doing.
Yeah. So if you want my new number, you know,
I go ahead and
and stuff.
I go ahead and program her new number into my phone just to have it.
The cat this whole time is still standing on its hind legs, you know, arms out, like it's trying to be part of the conversation without speaking. Looking at both of your faces when you talk.
I scritch him behind the ears and I say, "What's up, Calvin? What do you gotta say?"
Oh, he's absolutely adorable.
Is there something wrong, boy? Is Timmy trapped in the well again?
It cocks its head to the side.
I just give him another playful little scritch behind the ears.
Mm. Only our own cat Merp was so smart. She's an absolute derp. Very friendly though.
He's a lot smarter than you know.
I figure. Mm.
I figure eventually enough time will pass before we notice that Eve has been gone for a hot minute.
Yeah, there's an
Maybe
awkward
a
few
little too
moments
long.
of silence where you're kind of lulled in the conversation and wondering where she went. Did she get lost?
I kind of call out, Eve, are you okay? How's the changing going? Did you find clothes?
Echoed through the halls. No response.
Wouldn't be surprised in an apartment this fucking big that she's lost. Take a left turn at the bedroom and suddenly you're in a new fucking country.
You sound like an old Looney Tunes Bugs Bunny routine.
Saturday morning cartoons were pretty sweet.
How old is Morven?
23.
Would she know Looney Tunes?
I'm 19 and I know what they are.
Okay, fair enough. Just curious.
I decide to go look for her after enough time has passed.
Okay. Do you... Okay. You, walk in to a site of terror and appetite as you see Eve laying mostly naked on the floor in a very large, increasing pile of blood.
Shit. Eve? Kind of just shake her shoulder.
She is bleeding from the head. make a notice check, both of you. I'm gonna say you
1 versus 40.
wow.
A 100 and then a 1.
Right? I'm incredibly
30 versus
impressed.
45, that's not too bad.
All right. So she fell backwards and cracked her head onto the floor. And the impact was significant enough to cause very life-threatening damage to the skull.
We need to phone an ambulance right now.
However, to notice this, you had to lift her up to find out where the blood's coming from. Like, did she get stabbed? There was nothing on the front, so you had to lift her up a little bit, right? You lift her out of the pool of blood, and, you know, you start feeling, and you run your hand across her back, and you see the same tattoo.
Shit.
And that is where we are going to end our story for tonight.
What?
I knew it.
Thank you for watching.